Hi, welcome. I'm Angel Tuccy. I am your media mastery specialist, your media exposure specialist. A lot of my clients call me their media matchmaker because if you're looking to create more exposure for your business, your book, or your brand, I teach you an incredible method, the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s for how to get more media and publicity for your story, for your programs, for everything else that you're doing in the amazing world. I want more people to say, I've heard of you. I want more people to learn about your story and the impact, the greater impact that you're making in the world. And so I just want to say welcome. I'm super excited that you're here. We are going to go through a very systematic approach to creating more media and publicity for your business, your book, or your brand. And we're going to do it in a really fun way together. Actually, let me make sure I start my timer today so that I don't go over. First of all, welcome and congratulations for taking the time to be here. And I want you to know that you are sitting on $1 million business, either in an idea, with your intellectual property, with your audience that you have built, your followers, your influencer, the influence you make in the marketplace. And there are an unlimited number of media outlets that are looking for fresh new content. They're looking for stories. They're looking for people to interview. And I'm going to teach you how to leverage all of that today. Before we do, tell you just a little bit about who I am and how I came to be in this fabulous spot. I'm an ordinary woman, right? Doing ordinary things, just going out there and hustling and making my big impact in the world. For 10 years, I was a radio talk show host, broadcasting out of Denver, Colorado. Hosted the most positive business talk show in America. And then in a second 2-hour, I hosted a Christian lifestyle show. So I would get into the studio. We would host our 2-hour broadcast. I had a co-host and had a fabulous group of advertisers and sponsors that supported that program. And in a 6-minute commercial break, we did a second 2-hour Christian lifestyle show. So 4 hours of talk radio every single day. The business talk show was nationally syndicated, coast to coast, award-winning, and the Christian lifestyle show was the longest running show on that station. That put me in the top 1% of my industry. Very few women host 4 hours of talk radio every single day. In fact, less than a dozen women across the country. So I've been on the insider. I've got that insider knowledge of what happens when you pitch. What happens when you send in, your book or your media pitch? What happens on the back end? How do you get invited for free versus how to pay for advertising? So I bring 10 years of that insider broadcaster experience and wisdom to the table. I'm also an 11-time published author, professional speaker, traveled all around the country mostly, but have spoken in 5 other countries as well. In fact, in between the years of like 2017 to 2019, in that 2-year time span, I spoke on almost 200 stages teaching entrepreneurs the power of media and publicity, how to attract more leads, how to monetize your exposure, and how to get the media to fall in love with you. And I'm going to teach you that today. But I want you to know you are sitting on $1 million business. You are sitting, say, I am sitting on $1 million business. Most small business owners, entrepreneurs, we're the busiest broke people. Never hit 6 figures, according to the IRS. Less than 6% of entrepreneurs ever tip over that 6-figure mark. And it's sad because you put everything into it, right? It's your brainchild. You put everything into it, your heart and your soul into building up this business. And if you don't get that traction, your business is not only going to not hit 6 figures, it's more likely going to close within the first 3 to 5 years. And why is that? So many businesses start every day with this hope and this vision and this plan and this dream. Why don't they succeed? Well, I've come up with a few things after traveling and being in this industry for so many years. There's a couple myths, right? There's a couple lies that we have been sold to as entrepreneurs and small business owners. And the first one is to build your business one-to-one. Right? Going to networking events, one-on-ones, one-on-one coffee meetings, you know, sending out one-to-one emails, even if you, no matter how fast you are, no matter how good you are, you cannot meet enough people and build your business one-to-one. You have to leverage the power of one to media, one to many. Relationships are built one-to-one. Absolutely. Don't discount that. Belly to belly, eyeball to eyeball, connecting with people one-on-one. But too many entrepreneurs and small business owners are spending their prime business building hours in one-on-one coffee meetings, sending out emails one at a time, one-on-one discovery calls, everything, one person at a time, where you have to be present, right, in that conversation. Instead, when you can learn to leverage the power of media and getting your message and your brand out one to many, what you attract back are more qualified leads, ideal clients, people who have already built that know, like, and trust, so that you're spending your time with buyers, not tire kickers, not people sitting on the fence, but actual buyers. Not somebody who says, I've got a lead for you, because somebody who can fog a mirror and you go off chasing after that lead and following up. You cannot build a a business one-to-one. You have to automate, delegate, and scale, leveraging the power of media and what I call OPA, other people's audiences. People who have a radio show, a television show, a podcast, a summit, a following, a magazine. They have an audience, and we're going to leverage the power of OPA, other people's audiences, to build our business one to many, one to media. Second myth is we mistake engagement for exposure. Your business needs exposure. At Media Mastery, we focus on two things: revenue and exposure. Exposure and revenue. And you can absolutely track your exposure in the bank, because we're going to monetize the exposure that you are getting. It's not exposure just for the sake of visibility and getting our brand out there and having followers. We want to bring more qualified leads into our sales funnel, into our sales castle, I call it, so that your business can grow, that you can make more money. I promise you, it's far more fun to be in business when you are making money. Right? Can I get an amen, hallelujah? Yes, she said it. Right? We don't have to be afraid of the dollar signs. I love commas and zeros. I want you to be thinking about 2 commas. Right? I want to be in that 2 comma club. I want to be in that $1 million brand. I want that $1 million business, not a 6-figure business, a 7-figure business. That's the goal. That's the direction. What if it takes you 3 years, 5 years, 7 years to get there? The time's going to pass anyways. So let's put the systems and the strategies in place so that we are building that $1 million brand, that $1 million business, that $1 million sales funnel. And this is what the foundation of everything we do at Media Mastery is putting you, taking those steps every day to monetize, to create the exposure, to build your audience so that you can monetize and build that $1 million business. And it is an exciting time to be in business right now. I promise you, there are more opportunities than ever before to be a speaker, to be an invited guest, to be interviewed, to have your stories featured on online publications and other people's blogs. There's, for times such as this, we need you to step up and monetize your intellectual property, to share your story and your juicy goodness with the world. And so I hope you're excited. I'm going to teach you a few steps today on how to monetize and attract more leads into your sales funnel. So number 1, the first step is to focus on one thing. Bring it into focus. We don't have to be jack of all trades. So think about this. Without any preparation at all, if I handed you a microphone, what could you speak passionately about for about 30 minutes? Right? Write it down. What are some things that you could, I love my dogs. I love, my family. I love coffee, right? What are some things that you could speak passionately about without any preparation? You don't have to go study. You don't have to rehearse it. You don't have to look it up. These are the things that people want to pick your brain. They ask you, hey, who do I, what do you know? Like, you are the authority in this space. And when you focus on one thing and become that authority in the space, you actually rise up the revenue ladder as well. Because if we're a generalist, right? It goes from generalist, where we're kind of in that pond, everybody's in this same pond, and we're all vying for that same consumer and that same lead, that same marketing dollar. But when we can kind of rise up out of that pond from generalist to specialist to expert to authority. Generalist, from generalist to specialist, expert, authority. When you think about when you pay somebody, right, you go to your general doctor versus a specialist. When you're paying for a business coach versus somebody very specialized, right, in ClickFunnels, or somebody very specialized in customer retention, somebody very specialized in media, or in publicity, or in social media. Right now, you rise up, like you're going to spend a little bit more with them. They're more specialized. You're not going to get all the extra, just laser focused in. I want you to laser focus in on what is that topic that you speak most passionately about, that people come and want to pick your brain and ask you about most, and that has opportunity for speaking, right? Opportunity to be featured on somebody else's platform. Somebody wants to interview you and talk to you and ask you about, right? All of this good, juicy stuff. So we want to find this beautiful jackpot, this holy grail of a topic that you can speak passionately about. So you're always hashtag media ready. That puts you in front of your target audience, your ideal leads. This is the thing that they want to pick your brain and ask you about, and that you're probably giving away for free right now anyways, right? You're spending your time sharing this, giving it away for free, and maybe even feeling a little taken advantage of, maybe feel like you're just giving it away for free. You're not making any money. You're not monetizing it. Because it comes so naturally to you, you're not even sure how to price it and how to value, what the value in is it, because it comes so naturally to you. Am I hitting a few things on the head, right? You're like, oh, yes, right? I say it all the time. I share all the time. I post, I talk, right? I'm giving it away for free. Well, we're going to monetize that. That intellectual property of yours needs to be monetized. And we're going to start by building your audience, and then putting the substantial, the strategy in place and getting it out into the world. And you're just going to love it when you're making more money, right? Make more money. That's always a good thing, because you are sitting on $1 million business. So the first thing is to focus. What is it that you speak so passionately about? Tracks those leads, and we can now feature you and get you interviews. Because when you're being interviewed on OPA, other people's audiences, other people's platforms, it's not an infomercial, right? You're not there to sell something. It's not a sales pitch. You need to provide education or entertainment. Whether or not the audience buys from you, that journalist needs to know that even if they don't purchase from you, that having you on their stage, this coveted exclusive spot, because there's only so many people, right? Social media, it's a blank slate. 100 million people can be on there, and 100 million people are, right? When you are a guest on somebody else's platform, being interviewed by them to their audience, those are exclusive coveted spots. They could give that spot to anybody. By saying yes to you, they're saying no to everybody else. So by saying yes to you, they want to know that you're going to add value. You're going to educate, you're going to entertain, you're going to keep people from changing the dial if it's on live radio and television, that they're going to stay till the end of that podcast, to the opt-in. That you're going to help drive traffic and an audience and followers to their podcast and get their audience to tell others about it. So you bring something very valuable to the table by being a guest on somebody else's stage, platform, in front of their audience. You want to make sure that it's not an infomercial, that you are adding value, even if they don't buy from you, even if they don't opt in. And by positioning you as this content expert, by focusing in on one thing, and focus stands for follow one course until successful. Be known not as the generalist, the specialist, but the authority and expert, or the expert and authority in your lane, in your space. So think about this. I am a media exposure specialist. I could talk about a whole lot of things, right? I've been married for 27 years. I've got, all three of my kids work at Disney, coffee, friendships, I'm a friend, like all of these other things that I could talk about, organizing, time management, publishing, right? I could be known as that expert in all of these things because I've done it all. But the one thing that I stay in my lane that attracts more, and this is where I think we're often afraid to niche, right? To get down and dirty, to have the one thing. There are a lot of speakers out there that teach that you need to have multiple pitches, multiple topics that you speak on, multiple um, headlines, right, that you offer. You really just need one. I teach my clients, I've taught hundreds of clients to do it with one, and I myself have built it with one. I learn it, I do it, I teach it. So I don't teach you anything that I haven't myself done, tested, and beta tested and brought others to before we bring it out to the world. This is not theory. This is tried and true systems and processes and strategies that we leverage and use every day at Media Mastery. And so when you pick that one thing, you get to stay in that space too. It makes it so easy that you don't have to be the jack of all trades. What do you want me to talk about? No, I want you to own your topic, totally own your space on who you are and what you speak on every single day. This, even though it seems counterproductive, it's less expensive and it's easier when you niche a topic versus having many. You have one website, you have one call to action, you have your book that ties you back to it, you have one media pitch that you can modify and tweak for the audience, but you don't have to have multiple stories, multiple media interviews, multiple, like it's all one. And we create like this really deep vein, this deep root that you are positioned as that expert. In fact, you're writing the book on it or wrote the book, and we'll talk about that. This is your media pitch. These are the conversations and the talking points that you talk about. Those are those same talking points that you talk about when you give a signature talk or a 1-hour presentation or on a sales call. Right? This, you just dig deeper and deeper. So it's your talk, it's your title, it's your talk, it's your pitch, it's your book, it's your course. It's like it, and we just dig deep, and we make that vein so deep, so solid, right? And it's you dominate. You are the expert in your lane, in your space, and this is what you're known for. You get word of mouth marketing, you get testimonials, you get invited to speak on stages, and you don't have to try and figure out like who should I. It's all under one umbrella. We have one call to action that gets them into your sales castle, right? So whenever I would say exposure without a call to action is wasted exposure. So when we talk about these kind of like these bookends and these two strategies, number one, focus on who you are and be the expert, position yourself as that expert. I am not so much I'm the CEO or the founder of, no, I am the specialist in, I specialize in this, or I'm the expert in. And then number two, the bookend to that is what's the call to action? How are we going to leverage this to build your list? Because even though you're not selling, it's BYL. Do not sell, BYL. Build your list. Grow your audience. Leverage OPA, other people's audiences, to build your list, to build your audience with one call to action that attracts those perfect leads into your sales funnel and helps you to answer the question that they are asking. So what is it that they're asking you for? When they want to pick your brain and they're coming to you, Angel, how do I, what do I, who do I, right? How do I get started? How do I get media? How do I get more publicity? How do I get exposure? I've got a complimentary media starter kit. I have put together a media starter kit to answer your question. Instead of answering it there on the, let me just tell you, let them pick my brain for free, I lead them to my automation, my system, my funnel. I give them a gift, something they are truly asking for. What's the best opt-in? What's the best thing to give them? The answer to the question they are already asking you, and you already know what that is. Maybe they want tips or recipes. Maybe it's videos or guidelines. What is it that they are already asking for? And now you can say, I'm so glad you asked, right? We've put together a complimentary media starter kit for you. Go to my website, makeyourbigimpact.com. You can download your complimentary starter kit today, and that gets them in to your sales funnel. So number one, focus, become the expert. And number two, have a very clear call to action that builds your list, whether you are on somebody else's platform, even when you're networking, and this call to action can be everywhere in your social media, at the end of your YouTube videos, the end of your interviews, and your voicemail signature, your email signature. And now we are starting to monetize our exposure and we are spending less time talking to tire kickers and fence sitters. Let them go through the funnel, take advantage of that next step. They qualify then. When they get on your calendar, they are now even more qualified and more in love with you and ready. They've built that know, like, and trust. They've seen you on somebody else's platform, right? They heard about you because you're being interviewed as the expert in this space, and now we're bringing it through. There's a few more steps to the ABCs of media exposure, the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, and getting this strategy. So I hope to see you in part 2.